What if there was a Battlefield title where you could play multiple different versions of your favorite Battlefield titles across the last 20 years, remastered, all in the same game? How about all in the same server? What if you could also mix and match the gameplay settings, like the overall player count, from 16 to 128? What if you could even set the health settings to make time to kill and overall health regeneration just like the original Battlefield 1942, where only medics can deal with your health issues? This is all possible in the Battlefield portal, launching in October with Battlefield 2042. And let me tell you guys, now that we've seen this trailer, this is an amazing day for the Battlefield community. All of the rumors of the past few months are basically true, and in some cases the news is even better than we were expecting. In the Battlefield portal, you'll be able to play content from Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and Battlefield 3 with whatever settings your heart desires, to a certain extent. As we saw in the initial trailer here, the potential for shenanigans is basically limitless, but what's also exciting for me is they've already talked about being able to define more authentic versions of these remasters of your favorite Battlefield titles, and you'll be able to play those versions as well. They're basically putting the power of what you want to play directly into your hands. And I know that for me personally, I'm going to have an immersion-friendly World War II playlist going as soon as the game is live. What's also cool is, once I get things set up the way that I like them, I'll be able to share a playlist link with you guys, and you'll be able to join the server and play as long as there are active people on it. I can also share a customization link where you can branch off from my initial template for my favorite game modes and make your own slight variations or completely new versions of what I started out with. All of that is done through a web-based API, which the devs are saying they can update and add features to at any time. That also means that I can just share my template of the game mode that I've created with you guys with a simple link. It's just a copy and paste, it's that easy. You can also create these custom game modes and share them even if you don't own the actual game. You can also share them across any platform, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, so there's basically no limit to the community's creativity as far as sharing these different game modes and ideas back and forth. For those of us that have missed the more capable admin tools of previous Battlefield titles here in the last couple, DICE has also confirmed that admin tools, at least basic ones, are going to be present here in the Battlefield portal. One of the more specific examples that DICE gave us for what admins can do once they've created their favorite mode in Battlefield portal is banning particular usernames. So in the case of a cheater that's made their way past the anti-cheat system, you can just ban them directly without having to wait for DICE to do it. Now, before I talk more about these custom Battlefield portal modes, how they work, how you create them, and how deep the system can get, let's talk about the reimagined classics of these previous Battlefield titles and how they're going to work here in Battlefield 2042. At launch, we're going to be getting 2 maps from each of these classic Battlefield games, Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield Bad Company 2. Not just the maps reimagined for Battlefield 2042's new engine, but also the vehicles and weapons that go along with them. Now, not all of the vehicles and weapons that go along with them, but from what I've seen, it's going to be a pretty solid selection. Around 20 weapons or so for each game, and at least a solid handful of air and ground vehicles, both heavy attack, medium attack, light transport, a solid mix of some of those classic vehicles that are just, iconic for each title that you're going to remember from playing these games with your friends back in the day. They appear to be doing a really good job at picking the fan favorites to make their return. One thing that stood out for me for the trailer was the tracking dart from Bad Company 2 and the lock-on RPG. As ridiculous as that was, those are definitely coming back, and it should be tons of fun here on these reimagined maps. Even outside of the ability to mix and match period correct or non-period correct weapons, vehicles, player counts, knife only, medic paddle only, and all of that stuff that can be customized, just the fact that we're getting essentially little slices of remastered previous titles as a free bonus add-on to Battlefield 2042 is alone a huge value in and of itself. And I think it's almost a danger to the base game that this stuff is being added, because I think people are going to be so excited to see these remastered maps and try out all these different custom modes. There's also some good news there though. You won't be completely cannibalizing Battlefield 2042's multiplayer because all of 2042's weapons, vehicles, and gadgets, the entirety of the game, will also be available in Battlefield Portal. So even if you just want to slightly tweak the time to kill or the ability to add or remove AI soldiers from matches in 2042's content, that will all also be possible here in the Battlefield Portal. This also appears to be a true remaking of these classic games and not just a reusing of assets from previous titles. For example, on the Battlefield 1942 maps, the B-17 bomber is going to be back, although we didn't see it come back for Battlefield 5. Even crazier to me is the configuration of the maps for each of these classic games will also use their game correct class system. As an example, for Battlefield 3, you're going to have the classic Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon roles come back, but you're also going to have the original Battlefield 1942's more varied classes. I think it was either 8 or 9 of them, including classes that are more specific, like the anti-tank class. DICE has also very carefully hand-selected the maps that are being chosen for the launch version of Battlefield Portal. 2 of the absolute fan favorites from 1942 are back, the Battle of the Bulge as well as El Amin, and from Bad Company 2 we have Erica Harbor and Valparaiso. As you could very clearly see in the trailer, for Battlefield 3 it's going to be Caspian Border and No Shar Canals. Again, that is just a staggering amount of just bonus content available in a new title right from launch. It's like the polar opposite of how Battlefield 5 felt a little bit slimmed down at launch. They seem to be going in the exact opposite pendulum swing here with Battlefield 2042. Although we don't have any details on what kind of future support we're going to have for the Battlefield Portal, I think it would be a very safe assumption that given that we have an entire studio dedicated just to Battlefield Portal here, which is of course Ripple Effect Studios, I think we're going to see a continuation of this content added onto, maybe seeing some World War I maps from Battlefield 1, or some additional Modern Warfare classics from Battlefield 2. I would almost guarantee that given how excited people are for this announcement of Battlefield Portal, we're going to see it very, very well supported, because also it uses all of the base game content, so it's essentially a free sandbox to go along with the base game no matter what, and I can't wait to see what the devs do with it and what the community does with it. Like I said, expect to see my immersion friendly server almost as soon as the game goes live in October. So how difficult will it be to actually create these custom game modes? DICE is showing a logic editor, which is a flow graph based system allowing anybody who wants to create even much more complicated game modes to do so without any programming knowledge. This is the only screenshot we have so far, but this system looks incredibly powerful. And I'm very glad that we're going to have a web-based API to log in and make these modes, because doing all this in game and trying to keep track of it and save it all would be pretty annoying. But to be able to sit down at just a laptop and come up with a crazy complicated and detailed game mode and then save that template and work on it again later and modify it and keep tweaking it, that's going to be a powerful game mode creation tool. Again, much more than I was expecting from this announcement. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. Are you also super excited for this, and did you see this amount of remastered content coming with all this customization? I know I definitely didn't have my expectations set nearly that high, but boy, I am excited. For now, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.